Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2019 1st through the 15th reading. So we are taking a look at the first half of March 2019. Thanks to everyone for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Welcome back to returning people subscribers. And thank you for those of you who take the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments, and for those of you who follow this channel regularly, and of course to all of my clients out there, regular and new, thank you for always the busyness with personal readings. As most of you know who follow me regularly, if you would like a personal reading with me live or recorded, you can get more info and contact details by going to my channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button there, or you can click on the description link below or the description link attached to any of the videos I do. You can email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I do a wide variety of readings in all main areas of life of all different types and lengths, so a few to choose from. And I can usually respond to your initial request the same day or within the first 24 hours, and scheduling is pretty good too. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is the sum total of what I do, so I work pretty diligently with my own schedule and other people's schedules to get you readings as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me an email and we will go from there. So moving right into this reading, this is for the air sign of Gemini, our beautiful twins, for the first half of March 2019. Remember that general readings are always going to resonate a little differently for everybody watching. So if you know your rising and moon sign, watch those as well, because they can provide additional clarification. All right, Gemini, let's see what's in store for you for March 1st through the 15th. Okay, Gemini, we begin with the King of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Wands. Next to that, we have the Three of Cups, followed by the Eight of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, representing overall guidance and focus for the first half of March is, well, you have two cards that popped out. I think Aries did too. So the first card is the Ace of Swords, followed by the Ten of Swords. And this is overall energy, focus, and advice for the first half of March 2019. So, excuse me, I feel like for many of you Geminis, there is some information coming in, and it may be coming in rather quickly and unexpectedly. News information that's giving you a different outlook or perspective, or giving you some information to look at something in a different way. Your overall energy is the Ace of Swords. So aces represent the number one. So they represent the start of something new, a new path, a new beginning, or the opportunity or seeds for that. So swords is air energy. Now in the tarot, this is energy of the mind, mental energy, cerebral intellectual energy. So it's about our belief systems, our ideologies, how we think, what we think, because that affects the way that we see the world and people, and relate and communicate our own words and ideas to them. Truth, education, higher learning, illumination, insight, everything that goes on up in our heads. That's what the Suit of Swords is about, mental. So this is the epiphany moment, the aha moment, the light bulb going off over your head, seeing something in a new light or from a new perspective, or just getting news and information coming in rather quickly that allows you to see something in a new or different light. The Ace of Swords can represent success, but it's success that comes in that cuts away all the extraneous, maybe fantasy or illusion or emotions, and illuminates something for being exactly what it is, hence the new insight. However, what I don't like seeing is the card that jumped out with it, which is the Ten of Swords. So tens in the tarot represent culmination, cycles ending, coming full circle. So the Ten of Swords, it has been referred to as a stab to the back card. It can imply a sense of betrayal. The positive aspects of the Ten of Swords is that it's at an end. Whatever traumatic, challenging, or painful thing put this person face down on the ground, you can see that a golden light, a healing light, is shining through those swords. So It's over. The worst is done. You can get up and start brushing yourself off and think about where you're going to go next. You can see that the sun is rising in the background, a new day is dawning, and the animals are beginning to return to the scene, which usually happens in a wooded setting or a forest when whatever catastrophe or big thing has happened has died down and peace reigns again. That's when you see the animals coming back, the birds coming back, are starting to sing again. So the Ten of Swords represents something that was very difficult to take. It could be a betrayal, and I think for a lot of you there is some kind of betrayal energy here. But you know it now. It's done. It's over. You know it now. And it brings this illumination and clarity to you. Now, next to that we have, or actually around the end of February, first week or so of March, we have the King of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Now, sometimes, excuse me for coughing, I'm still at the tail end of that horrible bronchial thing. I feel just fine, but lungs are still clearing, so forgive the frogginess. So sometimes I read court cards with just the energetic guide that I'm getting, meaning that I don't see them as actual specific individuals. This one, however, I am feeling, and did from the very beginning, this isn't pointing to an actual specific individual. Now, because it's the King of Pentacles, and Pentacles is earth energy, it could be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or somebody who is strongly manifesting as the King of Pentacles. So Pentacles is earth energy, and in the tarot, this is often manifests in the earthly, practical areas of our life: money, finances, property, job, resources, assets, etc., career, or the efforts we put into things that we're working on in our life. Kings and queens represent individuals who are basically at the top of their game, meaning that they have grown and matured and evolved beyond the young, immature dreamer idea of the page, the spontaneous, impulsive energy of the knights, and they've reached a point of self-discipline, self-mastery, and control over the character traits which are inherent to their suit. So earth energy, we think about stability, security, money, job, things we can, property, home, things we can see and touch and feel. So the King of Pentacles is probably somebody who's fairly stable, financially stable and comfortable, if not well off, because he's worked very hard. He's a king. He's put in a lot of work to get to where he's at. And he's generous with what he has. He enjoys good things and good surroundings, and he's generous with those. And he also believes that everybody should have the same opportunity to work hard to get to where they want to be, like he does. He's generous. People like being around him. Solid, reliable, sincere, typically pretty loyal individuals. Their challenge is probably in being maybe stubborn, rooted, bullheaded, not prone to changing their mind unless they think it's, their own idea. We all have our challenges, right? So, but generally, a pretty stable, reliable individual. Again, this could be an actual earth sign or somebody who's just showing up with these characteristic traits. Probably not a very young person because they're showing up as a king. Now, and because they're in the upright position too, pretty strong implication that they're honest, upright, and forthright. My hair is trying to push my headphones off. My hair is always trying to do something, like imitate horns. Okay, so what clarifies the King of Pentacles is the Eight of Wands. This is a card of communication. Wands is fire energy, so this is very passionate, enthusiastic, typically fast-moving energy. It's creation energy. It's change, movement, power, action, fast-moving stuff. This is a card of conversation, messages, communication. We already know that something is coming in that brings illumination and clarity, and I believe here it is for some of you. Since timing is always kind of fluid, it could be at the end of February, the very beginning of March. I am recording these in the last few days of February, so this could be something already ongoing for some of you. But the energy is prominent during the first week of March. So messages coming quite swiftly, conversations coming quite swiftly. This is also a card that can imply physical travel and movement as well. Now it clarifies the King of Pentacles. So, this could read a couple of different ways. It could be somebody that's actually traveling to see you. It could be somebody that's giving this communication to you. I think for some of you, this King of Pentacles is the person that is bringing this communication and messages to you quite swiftly and quite powerfully, that brings this illumination. For some of you, it might be that the messages, news, and communication is about this King of Pentacles person in your life, or the person who's manifesting as the King of Pentacles. It may be that for some of you, because I feel like whatever the news communication is about somebody else's bad behavior, poor behavior, which affects you negatively, or hearing about it affects you negatively. It could be that you're being told by this person, or it's somebody else and it's about this person, this King of Pentacles, that they perhaps have been talking about behind your back, or that they actually did something. I mean, for some of you, it could be a romance reading. You know, it could be betrayal in a romantic relationship of some kind. It could be, I mean, there's 2 cup cards here, which is emotional energy. It could be that. It could be, although I'm not really getting a very strong feeling of a romantic kind of love, but it's about somebody, I believe, that you know and that you trusted, or you saw in a positive light as a very, you know, upright person. Some of you, it may be that it's about this King of Pentacles individual in your life, who up until now you've been seeing in the upright position as somebody very, you know, loyal and trustworthy and all of that stuff. And this illumination, you know, may change your mind about him, or it's coming from this individual. But I feel like it's less romantic, the person that you're hearing it about, or where this betrayal energy is about or comes from. I don't really feel like for many of you that it's a romantic attachment. I feel like for some of you it's either friends or in the community. And again, what you're hearing could be about hearing these gossip and rumors about you, or it could be, you know, somebody actually, you know, cheated on you, lied to you, you know, took a promotion away from you, or something of that sort, that leaves you with this sort of, you know, sense of feeling kind of stabbed in the back, or betrayed, or really, really, really very disappointed. The Ten of Swords represents that it's done, it's happened already, and it does bring a lot of clarity. Maybe if this was a person you were starting to wonder about, this brings the clarity that somebody was not out for your best interests. In fact, the fact that the swords are almost always in the person's back or pointed towards the person's back in the tarot deck represents that it's somebody doing things behind your back, because you can't see it coming when it's behind your back. Otherwise, those swords would be kind of either all over the place, or be pointed towards the front, and they're all pointed towards the back. So it implies that somebody's been doing something that was negative, perhaps malicious even, but they've been doing it behind your back, which can often represent rumors, gossip, you know, cheating, deception of some kind, regardless of what the specifics and details are, because of course this is a general reading. Whatever this Ten of Swords represents is going to vary. Some of you, it might be in the relationship area of your life or work area of your life. It might be romance related. I'm not getting that. I'm getting like it's a friend or somebody you know, perhaps in the community, because we have the Three of Cups and the Eight of Cups around the second week or middle of the month or so. And the Three of Cups represents good friends or best friends, kindred spirits, people you connect well with and get along with, sisterhood, brotherhood, that kind of energy. It also represents community, positive connections in the community, belonging to a community in a really positive way. So whether it's romance, or whether it's within your family system or friend system or social network or your job environment, because again, it's a general reading, there's thousands of you watching, so it's going to resonate a little differently. I don't feel like there's a lot of romance connection here, but it's somebody that, it's about someone that you trusted. For some of you, because the Three of Cups does represent community and it's a three, it could be a couple of people, it could be a small group of people, or a small community of some kind. Now, the Eight of Cups, which clarifies the Three of Cups, is a card of leaving behind that which you feel disappointed and disillusioned by. There are 8 cups on the ground behind him. Some of them are tipped over and spilled out, and some of them are still upright. The implication is that he has tasted and drunk from most of these cups, but perhaps not all of them. He could have started and thought, oh, this is really cool and this tastes really good. But maybe half the way through or 2/3 of the way through, he decided, this isn't really what I want. It's not bringing me happiness or joy or fulfillment. So he's made up his mind, or her mind, to turn their backs definitively on what this represents. Disinterest, disillusionment, disappointment, something which started out as one thing but turned out completely different, to run its course. You may not be sure what direction you're going in because he's still surveying the horizon. But his hat is on, his cloak is on, his walking staff is in his hands. He's done with this and he's leaving, he's walking away. So for some of you, you may be, this illumination and clarity, while it hurts, the Ten of Swords never feels good. But it brings that illumination and clarity that you needed, because you obviously needed to hear this. You needed to know what the truth of the situation was, of this person or this small group of people. You may be having to leave them behind. You may be having to leave a group, an organization that you had maybe joined in the not too distant past, and maybe you were going along, but something happened which I think exposed something for being different than what you thought it was, or a person or a situation, and you don't even want to finish the rest of these cups. You're done. You're walking away from this person, these people, perhaps this community. For some of you, if that Ten of Swords energy is just centered around or about this King of Pentacles individual, for those of you for whom that resonates, your friends, your community, the people that you really connect with that get you, could be essential and helpful and a great support system in helping you walk away and making you feel better about it, and in kind of giving you, love and caring and support during that process. So it really just depends on which side of the story you fall on. I feel like this is an emotionally challenging one as well, because nobody ever wants to find themselves face down on the ground like this. And there may be an aspect of this that you might be reluctant to walk away, because there is some challenging emotional energy here. But it looks like that may be necessary for a lot of you, maybe not for all of you. Take individual situation and ask for help and insight and listen to your intuition. Let's pull some final guidance and advice cards. Spirit, final messages Spirit has about this, Gemini. I hope I didn't just say Aries. I had Aries on my mind. I'm not quite sure why. I guess for some of you, there could be an Aries involved as well. This reading is for Gemini, the twins. All right, final messages and or advice from Spirit. The Seven of Wands and the Seven of Cups. Okay. The Seven of Wands is a defensive energy. It's a fiery energy. It's a defensive energy. Sometimes necessary, sometimes not necessary, sometimes positive, sometimes not positive. For instance, you could represent standing up for yourself, for a friend, for something, for a belief system, for something you've invested a lot into, and being defensive about guarding that and keeping it safe or keeping it the way that it is. Sometimes that can be a positive, needed thing. Sometimes it can mean being too defensive, too closed off, too guarded, and not willing to take a look at that. What you might be defending or holding on to might actually not be good for you anymore. So it can represent sometimes being too defensive, which keeps us from seeing the truth. And what clarifies it is the Seven of Cups, which is a very dreamy energy. This is daydreaming, fantasizing, head in the clouds kind of energy. It can be exploring multiple options, each of which are beautiful, potential, promise. That's what each of these cups is filled with. But it's not a practical energy or a grounded energy. It is a somewhat illusionary energy. Not all of these cups are achievable. So I feel quite strongly here. Some of you, there may be a reluctance and a resistance to take a look at this truth. You may not want to believe it. You may not want to investigate it. You may not want to think about it, look at it, or deal with it. That could be the Seven of Cups energy. And you're being very defensive about holding on to something because you put a lot into it, or you have a lot of history or effort into it, or just history. It could be the way that you're seeing somebody in this situation, or seeing a group of people, and you just don't want to let go of it because it served a purpose, or benefited you in some way, but I feel like I mean, it could be a friend telling you that another friend is doing something, and I don't feel like you should automatically believe certain things out of hand unless you have absolute proof. I mean, I think that you definitely need to verify this. Some of you may need to stand up for a friend or yourself. Some of you may need to let go of a friend or a group or something, or at least look at it realistically and make an honest decision about what you want to do. I feel ultimately the overall energy is to look at the facts of this situation and try to verify the facts of this situation, which is what that Ace of Swords is about. This is absolute clarity, uncluttered by emotion, or at least emotions are on the outside of it. So don't be illusionary about it, even if it's something you initially don't believe or something. Check it out and make sure, so that whatever decision you make or whatever you choose to do, whether it's to confront the person it's about or confront the person it's coming from, or a combination of both, make sure that you have the facts straight as much as possible before you do that, and don't stick your head in the sand on this one, Gemini. So Gemini, that pretty much wraps up your March 2019 1st through the 15th reading. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings, where we'll take a look at the last half of March. Again, for those of you who are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, please feel free to contact me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. I do lots of different types of readings of all different, types and lengths and costs. I do love and romance, of course, compatibility charting, career, work, and finance, investment readings, general overview readings on things. I do gift readings, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far out you want to look. And the compatibility readings are done it's a specific spread that I use to take a look at an already established relationship or connection, to see where each person is coming from. So there's a variety of options to choose from. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. That's an app that's good for quick questions, for the quicker, easier answers. So a few things to consider. So I'll see you all again in a couple of weeks, Gemini, for the mid-month readings. We'll take a look at the last 2 weeks of March then. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.